Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and I'm back with another deck build for your entertainment. As you guys will see with today's win ratio, we have a doozy of a deck. If you play this correctly, it could be a lot of fun and you will win some games. So let's take a look at the deck right here, guys. 38 creatures, 9 actions, 3 support, 6 prophecies. It's very much built on doing one thing: ramp, 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 stalling until you can ramp, then hit face with Pureblood Elder, Night Talon Lord, or just hit in face with Nix. It may not seem like an aggro deck, but because you'll have so many big creatures on the field like Spiner to Eldersblood, you can just hit face and not really have to worry about your opponent retaliating unless you're playing a super aggressive deck. And as you saw from the win ratio, I have been doing pretty well with this deck so far. We're going to be looking at a ranked match and a casual match. I was like showing you guys 2 different matches where we play differently, but still outcome is the same. We win the match. As you guys see from the deck list right there, which will be in the description and in the comment section below, it'll be on Legends-Decks, and I will have the deck code that you guys can import into Legends. But let's get into a match right now and just talk about this a little bit more. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into this first match right here. We're going to start off with a ranked match, and I'll explain why in a moment. With our starting hand right here, guys, I didn't want any of these cards other than maybe Thorn Histmage. So I kept that and I returned the other 2. And then let's see what we're going to get. We got Fighters Guild Recruit. We got Blackwood. It's not the greatest starting hand if you're going to be fighting something that's going to be super aggressive. But as this is a ramp deck, you're going to want the cards to ramp. You're going to want the Thorn Histmage. You're going to want Blackwood to hopefully do its job. Fighters Guild Recruit is an early good card because it just helps you defend yourselves until you can get some of those ramp cards out. Because most of the ramp cards that we have in this deck don't really start until you have 3 Magicka, 4 Magicka, or 2 Magicka with the ring if you're able to activate that, which we do have the ring on our turn, so that works out quite well right here. Our opponent goes ahead and uses Shadow Shift to draw some cards out, then uses a curse and uses Shadow Shift again right here to move back over to remove us. Decent play. I guess just want to keep them cards in hand. If I was playing, I would probably want to keep those Shadow Shifts because, you know, just use one if anything, because you already had my creature cursed. I really didn't feel like there was a big reason to remove my Fighters Guild Recruit because most people playing a scout deck don't play heavy items with Fighters Guild Recruit to go ahead and put an item on it to make it go ahead back to active. But my opponent did what they needed to do. They removed my Blackwood, but we still get to go ahead and ramp right here with Thorn Histmage because we had the ring. Like I said, ring definitely helps, especially playing very much heavy ranked ramp deck. And as you will see with this deck, guys, it's very simple win conditions if you just want to use it as hit face, which is why I wanted to show you this ranked match first, because I'm not doing this ranked match to go ahead and do anything complicated. We'll see that in the next match, a casual match we'll show after this, which shows a completely different way of playing this. It's just get creatures out there, ramp up as much more than your opponent as fast as possible, then win. So that's what we're going to do here. We have this guard here. This is one of the newer cards into the deck. This is where I'm saying if you want to take this card out, feel free. I just wanted it in there because once again, I like trying out these new Isle of Madness cards and just try to mess around to see how well they work in control scenarios, other scenarios similar. Now my opponent has a way to draw cards. If they kept one of the Shadow Shifts, they would have been able to move to the left lane, probably been able to take out a curse and then use that curse in combination with their dragon and get pretty good right there. But as we see already, we have the Nix combos. We got 10 damage just from the 2 Nix, and we're doing fairly well so far. We have Squish the Wimpy, which I really didn't feel like I needed to use at all. Even if my opponent did have Drain Vitalities or other curses in hand, I felt pretty confident just knowing how the deck would work and knowing that I had the health advantage, that even once my opponent finally did start to actually hit in my face, I would still be able to draw cards out. And that's what my main thing here, like I'm drawing cards because my opponent is going to be able to hit face. You're not going to have a lot of different ways to draw cards in this deck. So here we go, my opponent gets, I was surprised to see this, but hey, it's a guard, it works, whatever it might be. I'm just going to go ahead and keep hitting face because I really just did not see a good reason to do anything other than just keep going aggressive here. I'm running low on cards at this point. I didn't see a reason to use Squish the Wimpy yet, even if they would go ahead and use a Firebolt and get rid of Nix, or I know it was a risk, but once again, I'm playing off of eventually my opponent's going to turn the tide, hit face, and I'm going to gain a card, or I'll just draw out my deck slowly but surely. Going to be able to keep on ramping. But this match specifically is not about ramping. It's very simple. I'm going to hit face, win match. That's game. You guys see some of the lethal creatures here. Lethal creatures are my removals. I don't have finishes off. I don't have leaf lurkers. So you don't have a lot of ways to finish things off, unfortunately, or get a lot of good ways of attacking like big creatures and just getting rid of them, other than having your own big creatures out there. And I just thought, well, that's fine as long as my opponent has to deal with my creatures and I could just slowly ram to the point that I could get some of my stronger creatures out. It will work out, which once again you saw the win ratio, and you'll see the next match, which is a little bit more entertaining than this match. This match is stupid simple, like real simple. Like my opponent is using you know, cards that are not putting up much of a threat. Now, how does this deck deal with something like spell swords? People that, like, you know, super aggressive, get creatures out there. That's where you could get in trouble. That's where the, you know, the lethal creatures are, you know, there. So if you see your opponent's going to be playing like a spell sword or something you feel like they're going to be super aggressive, like a pure red deck, you want to keep those low cost lethal creatures so you could just go have stuff to trade with, things to react with, and, well, try to go ahead and win the match. So that's basically it, and that is game right there, and that's the match. So that was the first match I played after showing you guys the win ratio. So this actually does count. This is just an all wins, guys. It's all wins. I only have lost one match. If you go back to the beginning of the video, this is actually right after that win ratio. I'm on mobile, so I'm sorry for any editing mistakes or audio mistakes in the videos. I'm trying to do the best I can while I am on mobile currently. All right, yeah, so there you go. I even show it. Yeah, that was the next match after. So let's go into another match and see how that goes. All right, here we return Nix, but we keep Tree and Necromancer. Unfortunately, we got Pureblood Elder early. This is a card I usually do not want to have this early in the match. Not just because it's 7 Magicka. You're not really wanting to play this early. You're going to want to play this later in the game when you have the full 18 Magicka to take the most advantage from it. Now, my opponent here is playing a little bit more aggressive, so I think this is a bigger contrast to the last match we just faced, so that's why I wanted to show you guys this one. And once again, this is directly after the last match, so the win ratio is still continuing. I'm not trying to trick you guys, it's just, I've been lucky, I've been winning. I don't know what else to say. The deck's been working out. Sometimes I make good decks, I don't know. Or maybe I just get lucky, who knows. Either ways, we're not going to be doing too bad, even though my opponent seems to have a good advantage here. With a 4-1, that's going to be able to do 3 damage. They obviously are going to be trying to win the match pretty quickly, and my magic account isn't that high already, but Necromancer being able to take back this Magicka ramp from the graveyard is going to be to my advantage. Well, depending on what my opponent does, but still, I didn't feel too bad, especially that I had a way to get drained on the field. It just all depended on how my opponent would go ahead and react. This was just seemed like a super mistake to me on my opponent part right there, like using the Cruel Fire Bloom on the, you know, I understand when they keep a 4-1, but it just isn't that strong of a creature that I think worthy to keep. So here we go, guys. Of course I could have used the Ring of Magic to get one creature out, but I just didn't think that was a smart move. Having the 2 guards out there would have been, well, I call them both guards, but Shackle to me is almost as good as a guard. Having your opponent creature Shackle is so useful, but this is why I wanted lethal. The lethal here is just to give you stall for time. Depending on how aggressive my opponent's next play could have possibly been, I wanted to have some type of lethal creatures out there with Shadow Shift in case to move for left lane to right lane, whatever it might have been, especially when you're thinking about drain creatures. A lot of time when you play drain creatures, you're just trying to catch back up. You're trying to get health back, but still them attacking you still gives you the chance of you getting the card you might need. There's not a lot of prophecies out here, but if I do get the prophecy magic again, it's going to be able to help us out a lot. Now this match is a little bit longer, but you'll be able to see a lot of stuff that I've used in this deck to actually go ahead and win, so I think it's quite viable. Alright, so here we go, guys. So, as I have not lost any of my lethal creatures, and I don't feel like I need to bring them back, I go ahead and play out Necromancer. Now, if you guys are wondering why I played out Necromancer before I attacked, I actually was hoping that this went ahead and killed Necromancer before it killed the lethal creatures or hit face. Unfortunately, I lost my Sanctuary Pet. I would have preferred to keep that on the field just because of the fact that it is a lethal creature. It's a way, one of my few ways to have removals, but I lost it. Necromancer is just not as important because I have no way of reactivating Necromancer. I don't have a Dragon Priest Mask or anything else that can reactivate the ability. So once it's played out in the field, it's basically a dead creature after its summon effect comes out. Of course, not technically dead because of course you could use it to attack another creature, but for its long run life, not that useful to me. So here we go. We put out health gain right here. Keep the Shadow Shift right here. Don't move it over. let my opponent hopefully think that I don't have Shadow Shift or have a way to reach that. If my opponent goes ahead and use a Piercing Javelin, it would have really sucked right here. This was a super big mistake on my opponent's part. I understand the play here, which you will see in a second. Instead of, like, if you're going to shackle a creature, you know, like, shackle the creature that could really hurt you. We get the Prophecy ramp. Yes, it gives your opponent Magicka as well, but you're going to be playing better off of this Magicka in the long run, and that's the whole point of this deck. So I just think that was a big mistake on my opponent's part, but we'll see how I take advantage of that. Move left. Once again, I haven't used that before, so my opponent probably wasn't expecting it. Boom. There we go. We'll go ahead and ramp some more because that's what the whole of the deck is about. Yes, there's Sanctuary Pet. Yes, there's other creatures, but the ramp is the key thing here. We'll gain some health. Then we're going to go ahead and ramp a little bit more right here. So we're going to play out the creatures instead of the Hist Grove. I wanted to keep Hist Grove in my hand until closer to the time that I would need it because, of course, Hist Grove can be removed from priest. You know, if your priest hits a, you know, field, boom, Hist Grove is not useful. Can't get no use out of it. Even if I'm not going to attack with, you know, the Leviathans that come out of Hist Grove, it's just one of those cards that your opponent's just going to have to deal with. So I prefer just wait a little time to just put it down. We see, I see right here, like, oh, Exalted Creatures. Like, what's this right here? I was pretty confused that this got put out there, but maybe my opponent's hand wasn't on par right here. So remove that. We'll take the free shackle right there. We'll gain the 4 health. We gain some more Magicka right here. We're going to play out Hist Grove. We're going to play out Spine of Eldersblood. And as you guys will see, Pure Blood Letter is still in hand. I still haven't played it. Like I said, this is why I usually don't want to get it super early. It's not that it's a bad card to have as long as you're ramping, but it could be an issue. If you don't get those ramp cards right when you need it, it could be just a dead card in your hand. I mean, it's not dead. It's 8/8. You can use it, but it doesn't have a... It's not the greatest card in the world. So this is the card that my opponent obviously stole from me when they went ahead and stole one of my cards. So I was like, oh, what the hell? So anyways, my opponent goes ahead and removes my creature. Plays Shadow Mirror. Gets that into the graveyard, and then hit for 5/5.
May the gods have mercy on you.
So even though my opponent doesn't have any cards in their hand, I'm looking pretty decent right here. So we got 16/16. Remove that. Play Pure Blood Elder right there. Play Night Talon Lord right there. And we don't even need to play Thorn Histmage, but you know what's going to happen anyways. And then you're going to see what's going to happen on the next draw. So unless my opponent came out with, you know, just destroy my whole entire right lane, which is always a risk. Like, you know, putting everything in one lane and then hit it with a Dawn's Wrath completely screwed me right here. Definitely could completely screw me. But in a way, I said, even if I got Dawn's Wrath, my opponent still would have to deal with the Leviathan. Either hit face twice for 16 if they got the Leviathan. I still wouldn't lose yet, and I still have a guard. So we got Pure Blood Elder right here. And yeah, that's just basically game. We get hit 8 for the health gain right there, just in case of anything. Then we're going to hit for 16 here. And just because I wanted to show my opponent, I just do that. But the game's over either way, so yeah. That's really what's going to happen. The majority of the time, that's how I've won most of the games. Pure Blood Elder, 16/16. A lot of people just can't deal with that. Win matches. So yeah, guys, that's been me, Beaky, here with the Untitled Game Show. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be back with more Legends decks for you guys' entertainment in the coming days. I just love playing this game when it's fun. Till next time,